Hi everybody, welcome to Caketastic Cakes. It's Jen and I'm going to show you how to make Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas, but this time she's pregnant. Now, if you need any supplies or tools that you see me using, if you check in the description below, you'll probably find links that I've posted that should be able to help you out. Okay, now I know there's a lot of Nightmare Before Christmas stuff out there, and I've made a Sally video before, but believe it or not, this is actually a pretty common request for me to make, and it's Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas, but pregnant. So I guess there's a lot of Tim Burton fans or Nightmare Before Christmas fans who are having their baby showers and they want a little different flair. So, okay, no problem. Let's do it. We're going to start out with her body just like we did in the other video. You're going to have kind of a long tube of gum paste, taper it a little bit in the middle to make a waist, and then pull at the top real long and then to make her little giraffe neck that she's got. I'm doing all of this on a lollipop stick because I don't use toothpicks, so, plan yourself accordingly. And that's going to be our base. That's going to be her torso. I'm shoving it in my block of styrofoam. And every time I say styrofoam, I think of Bolt with I'm going to wound you with my styrofoam. Anyway, okay, that little plug right there that I flattened off, that's going to be her little belly. That's going to be her little pregnant belly. I'm making her legs. I take a long, thin piece and I taper it at each end, but leave it a little thicker in the middle. And these are, since it is her legs are like freaking insane. They start off kind of thick and they go down super, super skinny. So, if you don't have to ship this thing like I do, you can go even thinner with it down near the ankles and everything. So don't hold back. I trim off at the top, flatten it out because it's going to go underneath the torso. You got to kind of trim off anything that sticks out to the sides and then bend them and have them to the sides. And those are her legs, you see? And tuck it under the body with some water. Add a little water between the legs to hold them together. And yeah, there you go. You got her legs and her body. She's looking good so far. I'm going to trim off the bottom, as you saw, of the little belly there. Stick it on the front. And now I'm adding some of the stitch marks that she has. I'm using a blue edible food coloring marker. I'm just drawing a line around the neck, the one that goes kind of around her collarbone, and then the line straight down from there that goes down her sternum. And you just draw the line, draw little lines cross-hatching it to make the stitches. And there you go. You got her stitches all starting up. I'm doing her legs because once I put the skirt on, it's going to cover it up and make it more difficult. And just go here and there around the legs. There you go. It doesn't have to be crazy. And her dress. Okay, her dress is nothing but a whole bunch of patches sewn together at different crazy angles. And it makes kind of for a long and tedious process. So this is what I did. The colors, you can try to find a picture and follow along as best you can. You're going to find different pictures. The colors look different. So if you look at my original one that I made, the colors are a little bit lighter. The one I found, which I don't know, I think it was from the movie. The movie is so dark that it's hard to get the true colors of things. But pretty much any color that you want to use, add some brown to it. So if you're like, oh, that looks yellow, add some brown to it. Oh, that looks green, add some brown to it, okay? And that will give you kind of the toned down effect from the movie. I found that worked really pretty well. So I've got that one piece of pink there with the brown added to it that I just drew some plaid onto it, some cross hatching there. This is just a patch of the same color pink. I just added more brown to it to make it darker. Try to be careful with your placement too. Mine is not perfect. The belly makes it a little harder to get them in the right spots, honestly. So, take your time with it. Do your thing. That is the same color as the first patch patch that we put on with the plaid stripes. This is the same color, and I just rough up the edges, as you know, or as you saw me doing there, just because all of her scraps are kind of scrappy at the end. I'm using the back of my paintbrush to just press it all into place so it stays together a little better, and it didn't work as well, so now I'm using my little ball tool there. Make sure, this is kind of important, make sure your seams and the thickness of your clothes are even, because later on we're going to draw stitches connecting them all, and if they're not even, it just doesn't work as well, which you're going to see because it's not perfect what I'm doing here. That was some green. Here is kind of a mustardy yellow color. Again, it was just yellow added brown too. The top part of the dress is pretty important. If you're not going to get anything else right, try to get that right, put some effort into that. The one side is more of a yellow color. The other side is more like a beigey green color. And when they kind of follow that seam up the middle of her chest there and then flare off to the side over her shoulders so you can see the stitches on either side. So you see how it matches in the front, flares up toward the side, and kind of goes up high over her shoulders. See? Like that. Really, if you're not going to do anything else, shoot for those because that's kind of, you get used to seeing that in the movie just because you focus on her face more when they talk and everything. Okay, this is her arm. I rolled it out very thin as you saw. I made kind of rolled off a little ball at the end just by squeezing with my fingers, rolling with my fingers. Flatten it out, cut out a thumb, and I'm just putting pressure marks. I'm not actually cutting through. I don't need her to have individual fingers here, so once you get the right length, then you're going to make the sleeve for the arm. I do it all together pretty much. I put the arm on and then I put the sleeve on. I don't really come back to it, but whatever. And the placement of her hand, since she is supposed to be pregnant Sally, I try to place it on her belly kind of to accent it because her dress is super busy and it does hide the effect of the belly a little bit. So, just put her hands on her belly, make her look all maternal and loving like that. Okay, there's the other hand, the same thing as before. I matched up the same length to make sure it was all good. Trim off the extra at an angle. That's where we're going to join it to the shoulder. See, just a little bit of water. And again, place the hand somewhere, that looks good. Make sure your elbow bend is sharp. Make sure you bend the hand at the wrist. These people have true arms in this show. They don't have noodly arms. I always refer to Adventure Time with Finn and Jake and all them because they always have noodle arms that just don't seem to have bones and wave around, but these guys do, so keep your bends more realistic. This strip of yellow across the ankles are going to be her socks. I just wrapped it across like you saw, put a mark in the middle to divide them, using some black marker, edible marker for stripes, and I'm using little pieces of black gum paste, like a Tic Tac size, literally, to make her shoes because she has teeny tiny little feet. Now I realize that her neck is too long, which I kind of suspected would happen at the beginning anyway, so I trimmed some of it off. And now I'm making her head. Her head is nice and round, and her eyes are enormous. You see her eyes that I'm putting the holes in there take up most of her face, so don't be shy with the eyes. Those are huge. And I put a little pilot hole basically, and then placing it on top of her neck. Her head is kind of small compared to her body, and like I said, very round. I put a little dot of gum paste in the middle for her nose. It's a little blurry. I'm sorry, guys. The focus was set. There you go. Now you can see it. And just kind of pinch it off. She has a very sharp, pointy nose. A little bit of water in the eye sockets. Then you stick some white gum paste in. And you can really kind of see how big the eyes are here. It won't look weird when we're done, though. These are going to be her eyelids. It is a darker color blue. I kind of added some gray to it, I think I did. The same color as her skin, but with more gray added to it. And I'm using the small part of my ball tool there just to kind of press it into the seam around her eye and to flatten the eyelid across. Her eyelids go straight across. They don't curve and follow the shape of her eye. They go straight across her eye. So try to make them go straight across. Try not to have them curve too much. I'm adding this little teeny tiny dot of red because her mouth is crazy small. If you look at pictures of her, you know what I mean. And she has got some very red lips. Teeny tiny red lips. There you go. Now we're going to add some of the stitching that I mentioned before. You can see on these, they are a different height from the rest of it, so it doesn't work as well. But between the fabrics, like right there and on the other side of the dress and in the center right there, they're the same height, so they just connect real nice. So go around her entire body. Anywhere there's two pieces of fabric, add some stitches to them and make it look like she's sewn together. I'm using brown here. Oh, I didn't mention that before. The dress down below when I added the color is brown. So I'm adding some lines on the sleeve, some swirls on her one side. There are a little patch of kind of greenish color on the other side. I put some stripes and a couple of circles. Her eyelashes are literally letter V's, and there are 4 on each eye, so put those in. Her pupils are just a dot. Do not go any bigger. It is literally a dot. That's all it is. Her eyes are very easy to make. Back to the blue, I'm adding the stitches on her arms. You can follow pictures of her to figure out where to put them. I know for sure, definitely, she has one around each wrist. And then she has one, higher up on her arm, kind of around her elbow or her forearm, wherever. You're going to see pictures too where she has like random ones here and there. So, do what you need to do. This, you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm redrawing the one around her neck like a collar. This is the one that goes across her face, goes through her eye, like behind her eye, from the top of her head there, and then down her cheek. And now I'm going to add the line that goes from her mouth on either side. She's got kind of a Joker thing going on, so there you go. And the little lines, make sure you keep them nice and small. There you go. You can see it all. Nice, right? All right, we're getting there. We're almost done. She's not bad. This is copper colored, and it's going to be her hair. As you can see, I rolled out my piece, made it kind of wide. I'm going chop, 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 chop. Some of those chops go all the way through. Some of them don't. Take it up pretty high with the marks that you're making. And then you're going to have to flip it over and do the other side as well, because you can see into the back of her hair the way she sits. Add some water to it. And I did hold it up a couple times to measure it. It should go down past her, to the ground that she's sitting on. Not crazy Rapunzel long, but you want it a good length. She's got really long hair. It almost matches the length of her dress itself. Once you position on her head, give her her part, because she has a little part. And I'm rocking my knife up just to make the lines that go down from the part on either side, because I didn't want to damage her head or move it. If she is still soft, this part might be heavy. Her hair might be heavy and pulled back on her head, so you got to be careful. Make sure you attach it to her back. That'll give the support and it won't move her head. So once you position the hair, make sure to kind of taper it in, follow her neckline and everything. And you've got Sally, and she's pregnant, and she's cute. See? Isn't that nice? It really is cute. So hopefully you found this video helpful. You will like and subscribe because it's a nice thing to do, and I'd like it. Please check out my other videos. I've got lots of Nightmare Before Christmas if you want to add an accent like a jack or something to her to make your cake complete. And as always, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you for watching Caketastic Cakes.